Oh, Breaker19, this here's your gear jamming deer. Wait till it's got your front door. Come on. Let's get rolling. Going to try to not have an insanely long, well, I mean, I say insanely long. 30-35 minutes is about accurate for what I've been doing. But as I said in the last episode, I'm going to start doing slightly shorter episodes. Probably going to aim for closer to 20 to 25 minutes. Let's get this load completed. Probably have at least some of my lights on. I guess if I'm going by the gauge, I should be shifting a little lower on this truck. Well, does that count as a mountain, or is it just a hill? You know, just a big hill. I feel like it should count as a mountain. Where are we right now? This doesn't feel familiar. I didn't even look closely at where this load was going. I have no idea where we are right now. Okay, no, I have no control. It's just been a while. Been a little bit overzealous with the brakes. Oh yes, this intersection that I hate. Fortunately, this is a video game, and it does eventually stop spawning traffic so you can pull out. Only that happened in real life. In case it wasn't obvious, I paired right there so that the Mustang wouldn't stop in the middle of the intersection, because they have a tendency to do that. That intersection back there is the sort that I would, after sitting there for long enough, I would start considering just turning right and making a U-turn. Especially if I was in a four-wheeler. But, you know, of course, in a four-wheeler there typically isn't as much of an issue because they can pull out a lot quicker and into smaller gaps. Just a reminder, I know I've mentioned it in the past, but the reason I turn the camera sideways like this is because I like having both the windshield and the driver's side mirror on the screen at the same time, so that I can flick my eyes in between the two instead of constantly having to move the camera. If it were my truck, I would set the camera in a position where I can see both at the same time. But since it's not my truck, it's quicker to just turn the camera than to adjust it every time I get in a new truck, especially when I'm doing such short loads. Don't mind me. I'm just gonna get over here. I didn't realize there was a truck in this lane too. I probably should have just stayed where I was. See, like here, I wish the traffic lights were smart enough to see that there aren't any cars in either turn lane and skip the turn lanes like they do in real life. Roswell. This was my home base on my multiplayer profile for the longest time. Which, my multiplayer profile was basically my main profile. It was anytime I was doing anything without mods, I was running that profile. So that's the profile that I have a whole bunch of trucks on, a whole bunch of money that I actually earned, everything like that. I've got something like 60 trucks on that profile. Whoops. Slightly. Whoops. The loads are taking longer than they used to. It took me 10 minutes to go 60 miles. guess these trucks are replacing those trucks. Alright. That was Roswell. Hey, there are actually loads here. Oh my goodness. Oh, I said something yesterday about paying attention to where my loads are going. When I choose them. Oh, well, this is a tough decision. Which one? Yeah. Part of the problem there is I can't see what loads are in a lot of the cities I'm going to because I haven't discovered most of them yet. It's sort of boring to haul the same freight twice, but, you know, in a row like this. But I mean, 96 cents a mile, I'm not going to argue with that. Okay, I've got to change the camera in this truck. This is one of the ones that I just cannot stand. Why is it so far forward? Well, that's part of the problem. And while I'm at it, let me check the mirrors. Really? I think the mounts for these spot mirrors need to be adjusted. Now, I'm not that fat, and I feel like where the seating position was in this truck before I moved it, my stomach would be constantly hitting the horn. Darn it. This truck turns slower than the Volvo. It shouldn't be that much longer. Yeah, I think I've mentioned this in the past too, but I have air brake simulation off because it's just way too easy to drain the tanks when you're playing with a controller. Short band's a bit higher than the Volvo's was. Oh, it's only got a 12 speed. It's another thing what I was talking about with having more advanced light AI. Well, having any light AI. The light system is not artificial intelligence at the moment. I wish it was. Give a bias to having green, like just a slight bias to having green lights for the direction to travel the player is in. Because obviously, right now, the lights spend a lot more time red than they do green, because every direction gets an equal amount of time. Which means that like 80% of the time, possibly even 90%, you're going to be coming up to a red light. Which, of course, is unrealistic. It probably feels realistic, but it's not. So that, I feel like it should give a little bit of a bias to whatever direction the player is coming from. To have the lights, have the system start with the light that the player is going to be facing being green. Car's side mirror is blending into the pavement really well. It's basically invisible when you're not zoomed in. Oops. Sorry, wrong button. See, now you hit the downside of recording these videos in bulk, because I sort of run out of things to talk about. See previous comment about being in Pennsylvania. 25 mile an hour. Yeah. On a 5-lane road, 35 is plenty slow enough. Thinking if I was in a 4-wheeler, I maybe could have turned left, gone around the block, and then got through that light before it turned red. Oh no, I wouldn't have been able to, because it has protected lefts. Yeah. If it didn't have protected lefts, so the longer traffic light timing mod should be good for towns like this, where you have a bunch of lights in short succession, because most of the time in this game, when you have towns like this, all the lights follow the exact same cycle, so they turn green at the same time. This town, though, they all follow a different cycle. Probably this light follows the same cycle as the first light, and then the middle light is on a completely different cycle. Well, it's probably on a reverse cycle. getting too real again. Now you see why I was saying something about being in Texas earlier. 75 on the 2-lane, non-divided road. You see what I mean about these loads taking longer? I guess it's because I've done a bunch of loads in a row that were all not taking the interstate at any point. But like, this is going to end up being another well over 30-minute video. And I really don't feel like it should have been. So maybe now that we're in Texas, things will go a little bit faster. But like, I feel like even in California, I wasn't having so much trouble getting 2 loads done in the video. Okay, is there any particular reason we are doing 40 under the limit? Is that legal in Texas? I'm not sure if it is or not. I want to say a majority of states that have passing lanes like this, both oncoming lanes have to be clear for this side to use the passing zone. That was also a fairly blind corner that we had a passing zone around, though. I may need to change my mod order slightly, because I have a mod in that should cover stuff like this. You know what? At least getting past the Camaro. pass a truck. Ah, the Caravan Menace. It's really cool that the AI cars will actually use those passing zones. That was pretty good timing. Oh, it is an airport. I was about to say, what is this place? Is it just a warehouse? Because it sort of feels like an airport. Lo and behold. It's the game doing it, not me. I would never just drop a trailer right in the middle of a lot like this unless there was a hustler sitting right there telling me to do so that he could move it. Like, there are all these open bays. Just back it in a bay. And that's referring to leaving the truck hooked to the trailer, like going in to check in. There are drivers who will just park right in the middle of the aisle like that and then go check in. With all those empty bays there, just park in the bay. Anyway, that'll be the end of this video. The next video will most likely be a shorter one unless I end up getting a weirdly long load. Watch that happen. But until then, keep that hammer down, drivers.